Welcome to the Infidelity Doctor channel. My name is Dr. Talal Al-Salim, and this is the Ask Dr. Talal segment. You'll place to ask me any question you want to know about affair recovery and affair prevention. Please remember that this is not a substitute for the individual and couples counseling you should be seeking. This is merely a place for you to ask some basic questions and learn about my clinical insights when it comes to affair recovery and affair prevention. So before we get to the question of the week, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel so that you can get the most recent updates. All right, so the question of the week is as follows. I can't accept my partner's efforts of rebuilding. I feel bitter and resentful. What should I do? I think it's normal for the betrayed to feel bitter and resentful when it comes to accepting their partner's effort and attempts to rebuild the relationship. I think it's important to understand that you have those feelings of resentment and bitterness for a reason. It is important that we uncover those reasons so that you don't have to deal with those feelings anymore and you'd be more receptive of accepting your partner's effort. So I'm going to share with you some of the common reasons why the betrayed struggle with the bitterness and resentment that gets in the way of accepting their partner's effort. One is that the effort that the unfaithful is putting into rebuilding the relationship is not adequate. So if your effort is not adequate to what I expect, especially when it comes to the things that you need to do to fix the factors that led to them in the first place, I'm not going to be able to accept those efforts because they're not good enough. Another reason is that the effort in trying to repair the relationship is questionable, meaning that yes, it is the right things that you're supposed to be doing, but I question your motivation behind it. How do I know that you're actually doing this because you want to be with me? Which means that something was missed in the therapy process before deciding to rebuild the relationship. Because one thing I always tell folks, before you decide to rebuild the relationship together, not only you need to identify the factors that led to infidelity, and an action plan to fix those issues, but also you need to have the right motivation of wanting to rebuild together so that your efforts are not being questioned. Another reason related to not accepting the effort would be that those effort, even though they are adequate, and I'm not questioning your motivation, it's just that we haven't had enough time for me to know that those efforts are sustainable. So it becomes an issue of needing more time to make sure that those efforts are not just enough work to get out of the doghouse. The last factor that I want to talk about today related to resentment and bitterness when it comes to accepting the effort is sometimes the unfaithful actually putting in the right effort and they're doing it for a long time and they're doing it for the right reason and it's consistent, and the betrayed is still not willing to accept it. And in those situations, it's an issue of the betrayed feeling that what happened was something that can never ever be forgiven, no matter what the unfaithful do after the discovery. That becomes a challenge, right? And I always tell people that you have to be honest with yourself about whether or not you can forgive something like infidelity, whether it was emotional or sexual or mixed infidelity. Some people can, some people cannot. In those situations, if you really believe that the damage that happened is beyond forgiveness, no matter how much effort you put into it, then you need to be able to be honest with yourself about that and honest with your partner about it so that the two of you don't waste more time about rebuilding a relationship that does not have hope for repair. Hopefully this answered the question for the week. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below about the answer you heard today, as well as suggestions of questions that you'd like to see me answer. Until then, be well, be safe, and embrace the possibility for a brighter future. Take care.